Have you come for a wish? Or have you come for a prayer? Well, whichever one it is, you'll find it here at Beaghmore, especially with the changing of the year in midsummer. Midsummer has been celebrated here for many years, even by our ancestors who built this place thousands of years ago. Now, the stones themselves, they have always been here, but the landscape once was very different, as the name itself will tell you. Beaghmore, the great place of the birches. Once, long ago, this whole land was covered in the trees of Ireland. Birch and alder, rowan and willow, and oak and hazel. Now, birch and alder are trees which grow very well in places such as this. Birch is a tree of renewal and purification, so a chance to make the land whole again. Alder is a tree which you must be very suspicious of. You see, if you were to cut into alder, it would weep sap the colour of blood, and that makes people very frightened of it. The other thing to remember as well is that the green flowers of alder make a dye, and that is what fairies will use to dye their clothing. Of course, rowan is a tree which should always be used and always be planted, for its red berries and its wood helps to keep away witches. Now, when the trees were here, so were the animals of the land. Wolves and wild cats, red deer and wild pig and brown bears roamed across this land. Now, when our ancestors built this place, they chose this land here because it was holy and sacred to them. And when you look out here under the open skies and under the eyes of their gods, who could blame them? Now, of course, the only trace left of our ancestors are the metal tools and axes and parts of their everyday lives, which sometimes come up through the bog as perfect as the day they were first lost. But whether they were lost or left as an offering to the gods, none may say. Now, the men and women who first built this place, they built them for many reasons. The stone cairns which you will see, the mounds of stones, at the base of them is where they buried their dead. Now, they chose to bury their dead here for all eternity, whether as an offering to the gods themselves, or whether as a reward to the people themselves. Now, the cairns, they follow the path of the moon, and the moon, just as the sun and stars were very important to the people back then. Now, many people believe that these circles were built as an offering to the sky gods in order to bring down a great harvest and crops to help the people to survive. Because without the growth of crops and people and land and the animals, these families would not have been able to live. And they say as well that the shape of these stone circles is also a sign to the gods. A circle is a symbol of a wheel, and that is a symbol of the sky gods. So by making the stone circles down here, they're sending a message up to the gods in the sky and the sun that they might send them a good harvest and a way to help them to live. Now, the stones here, along as being a place of great ceremony and worship, were a place for families to come and to gather and to watch what was happening in the sky. Now, the greatest event to happen in the sky then, as it is now, was the changing of the year and the summer solstice. Some of these stone cairns and some of these rows of stones, what they will do is they follow a path directly to the northeastern skies, and that, of course, is where the sun will rise on the morning of the solstice. Now, the solstice, it is a day when it is at the longest day and the shortest night. It is a time of great celebration, but it is also a time of sadness, because after that time, the days will turn. They will become shorter, and the nights will become longer. There will be a drawing in of winter, which will be a time of darkness and uncertainty. Now, some of the stones reflect this as well. You will see that some of them are in line with the southwestern skies, and that is where the moon will rise on the night of the solstice. Again, the changing of the moon and the changing of the season was very important to the people then, just as it is now. Now, from here, the stones are all paired very well. There are 3 sets of matching circles and 1 stone circle standing alone by itself. There are 10 rows of stones and 12 cairns, so laid out in a very steady and very orderly way. But from the sky, from the view of a bird, you will have a very different picture. The paired circles and the rows of stones coming off them, what they will do is they make a mirror image of the great shooting stars which burn across the skies here. Now, these shooting stars, they can be seen very clearly here at Beaghmore, but you see, Beaghmore has a strangeness about it. If you were to come here at night time, you would see every star in the world shining up above so brightly that it is almost as if night were day. But that is not the only strangeness at Beaghmore. There are a great deal of stories and superstitions about the stones themselves. They say that these stones, the tallest stones here and the greatest stones, what these stones are not stones themselves, but they are giants who will come to life and dance in the moonlight. They will dance and leap and turn until morning comes, and then they will freeze once again until the next moonlit night. Now, a lot of people locally, they are afraid of the stones. They hold them in great fear. They believe that if you try to topple or destroy them, then what will happen is the stones will curse your cattle with sickness, or they will reward you with nothing more than a poor harvest. But if you treat them with respect, then you may be able to use the stones for anything you please. The stones are said to be able to cure any sickness. Water collected from the hollows in the stones. What that will do is it will cure any illness of the skin or of the eye. And of course, they can cure a greater sickness as well. If you have a child or a baby who once was healthy and now has become sickly, you may bring the child here and leave it in the middle of one of these circles. Leave it here overnight and come back in the morning. If the child is here, it will have been cured and you may take it home with you. But if the child is gone, then it was a changeling child and the fairies will have taken it, never to be seen again. But the greatest legend of all is about this circle across here. Come, follow me. Inside this stone circle, there are hundreds of tiny stones, all jaggedly pointing outwardly and up to the sky. Now, some people believe that the stones are there in order to stop people walking through the middle, but others say that each stone is a warrior, and when needed, this warrior will come to life in order to defend this land. Now, there is only one other thing you must be very careful of here at Beaghmore, and especially at this time of the year, and they are the fairies. You see, fairies like to wander the land and cause mischief, especially at midsummer. Now, what will happen is on midsummer night, you will see fires burning across the countryside, on mountain tops and hillsides. What you must do is you must collect the ashes of those fires from year to year and carry them with you. Fairies will walk the land, and on midsummer night, they will try to find unwary humans to take back to their own land with them. Sprinkle some of the ashes in front of a fairy, and the fairy will be frozen and will be unable to follow you. Now, when you come here to Beaghmore, you must always be careful of fairies. What I would say to you the next time you come is take a moment, close your eyes, listen to the call of the bird and the cry of the beast. But be careful, because when you open your eyes once again, you will find that the world will tilt just a little, and the flash of something which cannot be seen will slip past you to hide, laughing as it goes. Now, this place here, Beaghmore, the ancient people took it out of the earth, and one day the land may well take it back and cover it over with the peat and the bog from where it all came. But until that happens, come, walk amongst the wilderness and find your peace here.